And there he is. Chad?
Just a snap like that, he appears.
Did you know that being on the show with us, I want to know if you elevated your time. We could see it on our screen. 49.3. Did you know because you were coming on with us, you had to elevate the practice time? Because normally you're not the best qualifier, but feeling a little spunky out there today.
Yeah, no, I actually don't feel too bad. You know, like both sets of whoops are really challenging, so that helps me. You know, you got to know how to ride whoops, which I learned at a young age, and it seems to help me and carried through my whole career. So, but yeah, I mean, I think tonight the track's gonna be really, really one line, unfortunately. So obviously you see a lot more emphasis on my part, trying to get a good gate pick in the heat race, and then get a good heat to put me in a good pick for the main event.
Chad, we've seen it, you know, when you got that podium there at the Triple Crown in Detroit. Ever since then, I talked to you in Atlanta. You seem to find something on the bike. It seems like, you know, just watching you ride, you're a little bit more happier with the bike and the settings that you found.
Yeah, you know, like I would say the beginning of the year, it seems like I struggled all day long. You know, we were working, and then I would find a little bit of fire in the night show. The last few weeks, I feel more comfortable through the day and having more issues in the night. So, yeah, let's hope that I can. My focus this week at the practice track was focus on the one lap speed, but also try to maintain that and carry that over into the night show. So, I'm a year older. Hopefully, I'm a little smarter this week. We can.
Does the change in your age number actually affect anything, or is it just a couple days later?
No, I mean...
this is the best qualifying I think you've had this year, so it seems like
it's probably my best in the last 5 years, so... I know it's strange, you know, like it feels like just yesterday I was 16 years old. I had a teammate that was in his early 20s, and I thought the dude was old as hell, and, you know, like he was almost 30, and then at that point your life was over, and here I am at 37 years old, and I feel like you know, like the perspective you have on life, 3 kids, a wife, it brings so much more to your life than motorcycles. Yeah, we should more highlights like that.
more of Ricky.
Me winning. But no, I mean, it's been a lot of fun, and I don't know what you're supposed to feel like at 37, but it doesn't feel old, doesn't feel, my body still works, and you know, every once in a while I can bust out a fast lap.
You know why I think it feels the same to you is, and you've been pretty vocal about this, you are still driven. You're not just racing to race. You still have goals. You still want to do some things with this. And is it that drive that's keeping you feeling like you were 16? Because, again, you've gotten older, but the passion and drive is still the same.
Yeah, I honestly, you know, to wake up Monday mornings and you know, you're fueled with, whether it be positive or negative or whatever, you know, the passion to be better Monday is never wavered. And I feel like, you know, like I always compare it, for me, the reality for me is like the outdoor motocross, it's not there for me anymore. You know, like I love the sport, I enjoy showing up for a one-off race, but that grind of doing 35-minute motos midweek, I don't have that inside me anymore. And I think that at some point when that happens for me on Supercross, that's my indicator of that's enough. It's time to find something else, and I just love it. I still feel like I could go more. Here I am at 37 and trying to renew my contract for next year. And if you were to hold me on the spot and say, okay, next year's your last year, that freaks me out and scares me at the same time. So, yeah, I just love it. And, you know, the wife, the kids, everybody supports it. They allow me to come out here. Ellie's with 3 kids freezing in North Carolina at the soccer game.
While you're out riding the track.
While I'm out here having fun in Indianapolis. So, yeah, obviously, in some way I'm really selfish, but she allows that to happen and supports it fully. So it's a team effort.
Chad, I got a question for you from down under Greg Scott. You know Greg, he used to race when I raced, but he had a great question. He wanted to know, you know, what era do you prefer to race in? Like you won your championships on the 250 and the older type of a tracks, you know, or do you prefer the 4-stroke and the modern day tracks, you know, for you?
You know, like I think that it's hard to compare eras because they're all so different. For me, there's always something special about the beginning. You know, Ricky was a big part of fueling the fire, you know, him and James. And, you know, I think coming off of James sending out a tweet and an Instagram yesterday and finally coming out of hiding, you know, like that's just a dude that allowed me to show up on Monday mornings and work harder and harder. And although we had our indifferences and we pretty much hated each other, I have nothing but respect for the people that I raced at an early, like early on. I think that when you look at the top 5 guys in Supercross, in the history of Supercross, it's obviously Jeremy, which I missed that era a little bit, but it's Ricky, James, myself, RV, and Dungey. And though the titles and the race wins are not there like I would like them to be, when all said and done, I feel like I raced the greatest races of Supercross, and I was a part of an era that maybe would never be replicated, but it was just a lot of fun. So I don't know that it's about 2-stroke, 4-stroke. I hated the early generation 4-strokes, carbureted, they bogged, they hurt you, they threw you on the ground, and it was that you didn't have a lot of understanding. Now they're all fuel injected, a lot of electronics. They barely miss a beat, and they're fun to ride. They really are. They're getting lighter, they turn better, they stop better, and all those things. So, yeah, I'm proud to be a part of both eras.
I got a question for you. This might be a hard one to answer, but you mentioned James and Ricky and that time. I know there's a lot of respect now and at the end of it, after. But during that time, there was a major rivalry that was very public. If you look at the sport now and where it's at, you don't see that as much with the younger guys. Do you feel like there's something missing with that? Is there something that's changed just in the mentality of everybody? Because you guys didn't all like each other back then, and I think there was a lot of intrigue to that. Sometimes rivalries will fuel the fans because they pick their guy. I'm a Chad guy. I'm a Ricky guy. We don't see that as much anymore. Is that just a total change in times, or is it in the sport? Because I don't feel that same thing that we felt back then where you knew there was tension every week.
Hate's a big word, and I don't know that we hated each other, but you hated losing more than anything else. And I think that just pushed each and every one of us to that next level. You won or you lost, and you were first or last. And I feel like that was the era we lived. I find it crazy that 12 years ago, we'd be racing in a stadium like this, and Ricky and I would be staring at each other and wanting to kill each other out on the racetrack. And last night on my birthday, I sat next to him at the dinner table. So, times change, and we're best friends. But I think that, generally speaking, it's changed a lot in the fact that, obviously, as everything evolves, there's more cameras, there's more media, there's more officiating. So I think that a lot of things that we got away with, in our early days, maybe you can't get away with now. But these are great. I don't mean any disrespect to the current generation, but, when you look at an Eli Tomac, the amount of races he's won, he's still championshipless 6 years in. And 6 years in, I feel like you have to produce championships, So I don't know that we have a lot of fast, unbelievably talented kids that can get it done on a weekend, but that grind to be there each and every weekend has changed a little bit, And I think that you take somebody like Cooper, who put him in an environment where he's comfortable, and now you see him if he's not first, he's second, and that's how you get championships done.
Let's talk a little bit about your teammate, Justin Hill. We seen he had a fast qualifying time. He was the fastest, during the week. You're kind of mentoring, helping that guy out because, that guy is extremely fast, and his results haven't shown on paper. He had his best finish last weekend. I believe it was 7th at Daytona. How do you get a guy like that and help a guy like that? Because he's got raw speed.
Well, he probably mentors you during the week. You need to mentor him on the weekend.
I really think that's quite true. I would say that the biggest change for me this year is, obviously being back on a factory team, having a group of people around you, not having to, babysit and run that whole program by yourself. They tell you, all right, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're going to be at the track. We're going to do this, this, and this, and you go there, get your work done, and you go home. And Justin is somebody who can just throw down a lap time, like you'd be out there. I know in the preseason, Weston and I are out there feeling like we're riding at the highest level possible, and then Justin comes off the couch after a few weeks off and literally goes 1.8 seconds faster than us. And we're like, nah, that's not true, let's see it again and again and again and again. You're like, ah, crap, I got to go faster 2 seconds.
It was real.
So I think that at this point, I need somebody like that during the week that I get to chase, that I get to look up to. It's funny. It was only, 10 years ago, I was racing his little brother. And then now, well, he's big brother. And then now, you know, Josh has moved on and retired, and here I am teammates with his little brother. So, you know, back then, Justin was playing the little motorcycles out the back of the Yamaha track. So it's
and now you're watching him with the stopwatch and going, no.
Careful what you wish for.
Chad, you mentioned the drive and passion, obviously, to still race and compete. How about the crowd? I mean, look at you show up and look at they all circle us. Do you still
Chad Reed fans out there?
Does that still matter too? Is just knowing that you got fans, and obviously you talk about your own chapters as a racer, but then you went through the transition of being a dad, and now you bring in a whole new fan base of people that really respect and look up to that, and now you have people who are like, man, he's still going. It's like your fan base is growing because you're hitting every level of the fan. Is that still passion? Can you feel that passion yourself?
You know, like it's from a little kid, you've always won races, and your life is so consumed by winning. And I think early in your career, in your life, you know, everything's winning, and you're losing or winning, and it's Ricky and it's James, and you know, you get caught up in that, and I feel like fans, what made racing back then fun is, you know, I hated losing, my fans hated losing, Ricky's fans, James' fans, they love winning, so it's like, it was such a rivalry in all aspects, and I think that you can't explain it until you get older and you experience kids and life beyond your 20s. That I just think that I have a different perspective on life. You know, I'm not the youngest guy out here. I'm not supposed to win. Like, in all honesty, me winning tonight makes these 20-year-old kids look silly. In all honesty, it shouldn't happen. Like a 37-year-old should not be winning. You know, I'm again qualifying tonight. It'll be a new record of the oldest guy to enter a Supercross, and that's just crazy to me because, like, I think 12 years ago, Ricky called it a career, and I couldn't imagine what I would have done in the last 20 years had I have called it a career at that point. You know, and that's probably what's changed for me is that the perspective on life that you just don't have that. You can't buy that without experience and going and doing the things you did, and you know, seeing your own kids and, you know, like the things that your dad and your mom were frustrated at, and now I have those same frustrations in my own children, and you know, and you're trying to balance. It's always a balance, and they don't come with instructions, so you know, you're constantly, it's trial and error, and it's teamwork. So yeah, I just think that for me now, you know, Larocco's gone, Kevin inherited that group, and now Kevin's gone, and I seem to have inherited that group as well. So, but I'm proud. I'm proud to rep the old boys, and you know, and guys that are still loving it. From, you know, I'm the last of my era left, and I hope that we can come back next year and have fun and go racing still.
Are you ever gonna let Justin Brayton have the old fans? Or are you going to outlast him too? In fact, Jim and I already talked about it. We actually had a little plan. We want you to verbally commit right now. We want to see you go to 40.
Yeah, how many of you people want to see Chad Reed go to 40?
You want to see Chad go to 40?
There you go, Chad.
So in your negotiations with your contract, make it a 3-year deal?
A 3-year deal is going to be tough. You know, like, I would love to do it, but I must say that the sport of rallycross has got me.
Uh-oh.
I've been bitten by the bug, and with age, get a cage. Last year I did the Monza Rally, and I had an absolute blast going wide open, doing, you know, 180 miles an hour into the dark at Monza, you know, on the banking. There's something, I mean, how ridiculous is that? You've got lights, you can barely see, you're doing 100 miles an hour. Some dude that doesn't barely speak English is telling you that there's a hard left and a hard right. I'm like, all right, I think he said there's a hard left, hard right. But yet there's that, you know, like, it gives you the buzz that Supercross gives you. So here I am, you know, I would love to do that in the summertime and come out here in the wintertime and race dirt bikes.
Well, Chad, thanks for joining us on Race Day Live. 2 big whoop sections, fast qualifying time. I'm sensing a good night of racing, and I'm sure all the fans here would like to see that as well. And again, thanks for joining us on Race Day Live, and let's get it done tonight.
I'd love to do that. It'd be nice to be on a podium on a birthday weekend. I appreciate everybody always. You know, each and every one of you, it's a lot of fun. You know, I've been through the good times, the bad times, and we're still here. I love the sport of Supercross, and I want a whole shot tonight and hear the crowd.
I like it. I think they do as well. Chad, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
And it's going to be a good night of racing. Hopefully, Chad can get it done. We'll be back with more from Race Day Live. Chad, good luck getting through the crowd back to the pits. We'll be back.